Once upon a time, in a remote valley surrounded by tall mountains and dense forests, there was a small village. The village was so isolated that travelers rarely passed by, and the villagers lived their lives quietly, untouched by the outside world. Every morning, the sun rose slowly over the peaks, casting golden light on the narrow streets and the wooden houses. Smoke rose from chimneys as people began their daily chores, tending to gardens, feeding animals, and preparing food. Life seemed simple, but it carried the weight of generations. Among the villagers, there was an old man who lived at the edge of the forest. He had spent most of his life exploring the woods, observing the wildlife, and recording the secrets of the valley. His home was filled with maps, drawings, and notes about trees, rivers, and hidden paths. He was known as the keeper of stories, the one who remembered everything that had happened in the village. One year, the valley faced an unusual challenge. Heavy rains fell continuously for weeks, turning paths into streams and fields into lakes. The villagers worked tirelessly to protect their homes and crops, but the forest seemed to grow wilder with each storm. Trees fell, rivers changed course, and shadows of the woods crept closer to the village. The old man decided to explore the forest during the storm. He walked carefully along the muddy paths, guided by his knowledge of every tree and stone. He discovered that the river had shifted and uncovered a hidden cave beneath the cliffs. Inside the cave, he found ancient carvings on the walls, telling stories of the village's ancestors, their struggles, and their triumphs over nature. By the time the storm ended, the old man returned to the village with a sense of wonder. He shared the discoveries with the villagers, reminding them of their history and their connection to the forest. The rains had changed the land, but they had also revealed a deeper understanding of their home. From that day on, the villagers learned to respect the forest and live in harmony with its secrets. The old man continued to explore, record, and protect the valley, knowing that some stories are meant to be discovered slowly, like treasures hidden in the heart of nature. And so the village survived, not only because of the strength of its people, but also because of the wisdom they inherited from those who had walked the forests before them.
Emma Wilson, a 32-year-old office worker from New Jersey, was waiting for her train early in the morning. It was a cold and quiet day, and only a few passengers were standing on the platform. Emma was listening to music when she noticed something unusual happening near the edge of the tracks. An elderly man who looked confused and tired was walking too close to the train line. At first, Emma thought he would step back, but suddenly the man slipped and fell onto the tracks. Several people gasped, but no one moved. A train was approaching from the distance, and there were only seconds before it reached the station. Without thinking twice, Emma dropped her bag and jumped down onto the tracks. She rushed to the man, who was too shocked to stand up. Emma grabbed him under his arms and tried to lift him, but he was heavier than she expected. The sound of the incoming train grew louder, and people on the platform began shouting for help. Together, they managed to lift the elderly man back onto the platform. Emma climbed up right after them, and only a few moments later, the train rushed past at full speed. Everyone stood in silence, realizing how close they had been to a tragedy. The elderly man, Mr. Harris, was trembling but unharmed. He explained that he had felt dizzy before falling and didn't remember exactly what happened. Emma stayed with him until the medical team arrived. When reporters later asked her why she risked her life, she simply said, "I just did what anyone should do. No one deserves to face danger alone." The story spread across the community, and many people called Emma a hero. But she refused the title. She believed that courage existed in everyone. They just needed a moment for it to appear. Her bravery inspired thousands of people, reminding them that a single act of kindness can change and even save a life.
The stranger on the bridge. On a quiet autumn afternoon, 17-year-old Adam was walking home from school. The wind was cool, and the trees were slowly turning orange and yellow. As he crossed the old wooden bridge near his house, he noticed a man standing in the middle, staring down at the river. Adam hesitated for a moment, then slowly approached the stranger. "Are you okay, sir?" he asked gently. The man didn't look up at first. His clothes were wet and his hands were shaking. After a long pause, he whispered, "I don't know anymore." Adam felt a strange mix of fear and sympathy. He placed his backpack on the ground and stepped closer. "Whatever is happening," Adam said, "you don't have to face it alone." Finally, the man lifted his head. He had tired eyes, but a soft expression. "Why would a boy like you care about a man like me?" he asked. Adam shrugged. "Because sometimes one small act of kindness can save a life. I learned that from my father." The man let out a quiet, shaky breath. For a moment, the only sound was the river flowing under the bridge. Then he slowly stepped back from the edge. "Thank you," he murmured. "I didn't think anyone would notice." Adam smiled. Everyone deserves to be noticed. The man nodded, and together they walked off the bridge. Adam guided him to a nearby bench and called for help. When the ambulance arrived, the man looked at Adam one last time and said, "You may have saved me today." Adam didn't feel like a hero. He only felt relieved that he chose to speak when it mattered. And from that day forward, every time he crossed that old bridge, he remembered that even the smallest voice can change someone's life.